Hello friends and welcome. Today I am doing a gameplay commentary of a DK game I just played where I had a tough laning stage and our team was behind, but we managed to come back and win. I want to talk you through that on how to play DK as a follow-up to the DK guide I made the other day, but also just what do you do in a tough game. We'll talk about that generically. So this game, I am against a Terrorblade and Disruptor in lane. I decided, I don't know if it's the best, because full disclosure, not the best offlaner. I will point out things I do well and not so well. I think I was going to take a lot of harass from like TB meta and when he uses Refraction, so I bought a Ring of Protection early to build a Soul Ring later. I'm not going to get a Meteor Hammer this game because of some different heroes making it a little hard to use. I think it could have maybe worked if I have a good laning stage, but I didn't, so turns out it was a good call. When you see Disruptor like this, by the way, no matter what role you play, I had a feeling there was a ward back here. I actually didn't say anything. This is my bad. I think it got Lion killed once or twice later on. I actually deward it later, but there's no real reason for a support to walk this way. It's almost always because there's a ward in this area. So I don't really know why I didn't say anything, and that's on me. Could have helped out my team and helped out myself, really. Because I also should have expected maybe something like this. If they're going to ward here, they might be going for like a first blood. Not guaranteed, but could be. This is not the end of the world. It's whatever. It happens. So from here, because I'm not going to contest the bounty runes when that happens, I just come back to get a fast body block. I'm going to let one creep go through. My game plan here, if you are watching this video as a follow-up because you're not the best offlaner, we just want the lane to come back here and we want to farm. So I am blocking one creep forward. It'll die on its own. He did a little blocking on his own as well. This will get this first creep killed and then pull the lane back, which I'm about to mess up here anyways. But another trick you can do is just aggro all the creeps back and try to get your creeps under tower. Whatever you do, just try to get the lane back. TB used meta early for the first blood, so this laning stage should go a little easier than usual. But I still kind of screw it up a bit. I think I was actually doing too much creep equilibrium because I already sent one creep forward, so I actually don't have to do as much. So you can see all my creep equilibrium pulling kind of like messed up what I did by blocking one creep forward. So that's a bit on my part. That was the first time I like ever did such a strong creep block, because not the first time ever, but like usually it was going differently. Here I started with Breathe Fire because TB, although melee, I was having a tough time here, so I was saving the skill point, and then I saw this range creep getting low, so I want this last hit. Plus, when he has meta again, he's essentially a ranged hero that's going to zone me, so Breathe Fire will help me with that. You see right here, I'm not doing the best with getting the equilibrium back. We'll get it later. If you can get it sooner, all the better for you if you're having a rough time, but sometimes this is what happens. So I'm just going to try to get the last hits I can. I don't know, TV's like AFK here or something, so getting some free last hits. I'll pop that up so we can keep track. So I'm actually doing okay on the last hits, actually, relatively. Mirana actually rotates down here. This is a bit of a surprise to me. Just going to try to get out here. Met my courier, so I figured it was going to die, but I at least wanted this bracer. I don't usually build Bracer anymore on DK, but I had a feeling this would be a tough laning stage. After I saw Disruptor get this Observer, I was like, there's no way he should see that, unless he saw Lion respawn, go through here with the Observer, and reappear without it. So that's when I still didn't say anything. I bought my own Sentry because I wanted the money. But you really should say something to your team. It was bad of me to do that, and I think that's part of how they kill Lion here again. So Lion having a very rough start. This will happen. Sometimes your supports, it just happens, you know? Like, no flame to the guy. He played fine later, but you just have a rough game sometimes. And for our perspective from here, that's okay. We're just trying to pull the lane back. We get to our power treads, our blink, because that's the benefit of DK, right? Whether it's your support or yourself who's having a tough game, DK really, once you have that blink and that stun, you're going to start contributing to your team. So that was kind of my mindset. I'm going to use Breathe Fire to get some last hits that I can, and I will start thinking about doing my own pull since, you know, if Lion dies and he's not here, then maybe I have to do it. But when I take a look at the lane, I see this is pushing in, so I'm going to just try to bounce this out here. We are, of course, getting our points in passive, and because I feel the lane's tough, I am going to get 2 points in Dragon Blood. I will poke a bit. This Breathe Fire is a mistake. It makes me miss like both these. Oh, we got one. But it made me miss those, or miss at least one, and that's not really worth it. Here, I'm not sure if this was the best plan, but I was looking at the timing and I was like, you know, I think the next wave isn't here for a while, so I'm just gonna like stay here and farm all this. And You know what? Let's find out together. Let me see. Like, yeah, I couldn't have done anything here. So this is fine, and I'm just, like, farming things up. And then I think they actually do a small pull, which, honestly, I don't think I noticed. I think I was hyper fixated on not missing these last hits. If I'd seen this happen, you know, it's just a small camp. Honestly, I probably should just walk over and, like, breathe fire it or have Lion do that. But because it was a small pull and because he brought the creeps under tower, it's going to push out again, and we're going to be okay. My Pango was not a fan of SF as a hero, I guess. He was fine, actually, in the game. That sounds toxic, but I don't know. He actually wasn't. He just didn't like SF, though, as a hero. Or maybe the player. I don't know the backstory. From here, we're going to get Power Treads. If you're not getting Meteor Hammer, which I'm not doing this game, you can change it. You can get the Belt of Strength. It gives you more tankiness, more HP regen, so that's good. Or, to finish that, also gives you damage so that you can get last hits and denies. In this case, I am worried about getting killed by Terrorblade, and I already have to deal with this Glimpse and possibly Kinetic Field, so I want extra move speed to make it a little harder on them to get those. So I'm trying to be conscious of that. Here, for example, they go on me with the Glimpse, but because I'm tanky, I've got this extra ring of protection, I've got this Bracer, I've got the 2 points in Dragon Blood. Let me go back to myself so you can see it. We end up alive here, and I think that's part of the itemization I got, but also Dragon Knight as a hero, right? He's just very tanky, and you can do this kind of build against a lot of people. So I'm just going to stay in range for XP. Can't walk up, I will die, so just chilling, and that's okay. That'll happen to you. And the good news is, because we have got this passive, we're going to heal up in this time. So sometimes you do want to be like more aggressive, really trying to deny out the enemy. But depending on how the lane goes or depending on the matchup, it's not always going to be possible, and that's when you're just going to like just get what you can. You try to use Dragon Breath, I missed it there. Oops. Level 1 Dragon Breath, and he was he's TB having a good game. So actually, he probably does more damage than my Dragon's Breath. He does. So maybe I don't feel so bad about missing that one now. Came over here to see if they were pulling, but I see the creeps show up. And I'm just going to get the last hits I can. At this point, I probably should have bought my own Observer and Sentry. Because you're going to see me die once or twice in this laning stage. Because they come and like they glimpse. And that was my fear, but I just didn't respect it enough. So here's one, for example. I'm just going to try to like run around, kite, dodge everything. They miss some spells, which is why I'm going to live quite a while here. And again, part of the build, I'm just very tanky, and we actually end up with a Mirana kill. So very nice for us, very nice for me. I think if he glimpses me, I might end up dying, but went for the line instead, and I get to live. I usually buy Soul Ring next and use that as part of like farming faster. Get your ult, have points in Dragon Breathe or Breathe Fire, and just like shove in lanes, hit the tower, farm camp, stuff like that. But because this game's like really bad, I thought, okay, maybe I get the blink faster. Honestly, in hindsight, I don't know if that was the right call. Thinking about it, I guess, now that we're in the video, I think it was okay because I don't think the Soul Ring would have helped me farm that much faster as to like recover the gold of buying the rest of the Soul Ring. And I'm gonna manage to pick up a pretty fast blink, but actually, I don't think we even use it in the end all that much. So I couldn't quite, unfortunately he steals it, but I was just trying to like jungle farm, right? We're just getting what we can here. I think blink can be the way you recover, but actually, keeping in mind the different ranks, sometimes the game's a lot more passive, right? You could delay it. You could get the Soul Ring first. Other items just help you farm faster if your team's not ready to be active. But if your lane's going well, or maybe you're behind, like that's kind of how you come back, right? I can't just keep playing the lane. I'm losing the lane. So I need to change things up, and a blink stun is one of the ways to do that. You could follow up with the roll, you could follow up with the lion stuns, and when he hits 6, you know, the finger. So that was my logic. I ended up picking up a pretty fast blink this game. We can speed up a little here, because that's kind of the laning stage. We didn't get to see as many different laning mechanics, but I actually recorded a different one where I was winning the lane and winning the game, and I could already imagine you guys commenting like, well, this doesn't happen in my game. All the lanes won, so that was easy. I was like, you know what? We'll pick one that's tough. So you're not seeing me do as many like laning tricks, because I'm kind of getting zoned a lot. But once I see, like, I feel like I have some space, I'm going to use my ult to try to push this in. And this is where I need to be careful and where I needed a observer down here. an observer, sorry. So they're gonna come and just get me with this. And I don't know, I just get glimpsed back into the meta TB and die. So that's on my part. If I had just played it more safe, I could have just retreated through here, or I could have bought my own observer and placed it here. I think I buy one now soon. Yeah, I buy one. And it's too bad too, because I was really close to the blink, so we could have had like a 11-minute blink if we just play it safe, back up, and then maybe we farm our own camp. We don't want to spend too much time on our own half of the map. But if you're really close to an item like Blink and you want to play it safe and surprise them with it, you can do something like that. I TP'd back, don't get glimpsed by Disruptor, TP'd behind the trees, waited 4 seconds before coming out. And now I'm just going to get my Blink. And I start talking to my team about the fact that the Blink's coming up. I don't think we successfully really used it. I think actually I'm about to feed here again. Same way as before. Yeah, so here's the glimpse. I had just bought the Blink too, so that's too bad. That's again my own fault. I should have been more careful, make sure we can use the Blink. But that's why I picked this game, because I'm having a bit of a rough start here, which actually money-wise I'm doing like not the worst, but you can see I'm pretty far behind Terrorblade, so I still count this as a rough lane. And here I went for it, but in hindsight, you know, Pango had already used roll bottom. If he had roll, this is probably an SF kill that he gets surprised by this blink stun, but didn't have roll, so we didn't have the damage to follow up. He just ults us away, and because I initiated with the stun, no way to cancel that. So I guess I shouldn't have stunned right away. Maybe just jump, attack, breathe fire, and once he starts channeling, or if he runs out of range, then stun. But even if I time it perfectly, I think it's pretty hard to get that kill without roll, so I think that was kind of like a waste. And I realized that and decided, like, okay, you know what, come back down here, continue farming, continue to try to push this tower, make space. There's me placing my own observer ward. And I don't think I take this tower here, or for a little bit, but at least we can keep drawing people down here. Now, during all this, Wraith King is farming okay at least, and he's going to get a Radiance to expedite that farm. So that's going to lead to our English. That's gonna be how we recover. Is that he gets farming, he finds the farm we need, and they overextend a little bit, and we find some good fights. And that's kind of what you have to do if you're in a losing game. You need to find them split up potentially. You need to out farm them, but that's hard when they're winning, right? And especially in a passive game, it's easier for them to out farm you than vice versa, unless you like split up the map, because they tend to like group up a lot in pub games. You split up the map, and then when you see them, either they stay 5-manning and you catch up and farm that way, or they start to split up, you have to quickly try to like make a play. I know that's very hard in a pub game, but I don't have another answer for you. Like if you say like, well, what if that doesn't happen? Like, I don't need to lose, I guess. It's not easy. And it won't happen every game, but sometimes you will have teammates who will listen. So I came up here because it's a big fight. Maybe we should actually start this fight over and break it down more. For this fight, we saw Shadow Fiend bottom, and this top tower is gone, so we thought, okay, we can try to take this fight. All 5 of us are here. We recently finished Radiance on Wraith King. We had Diffusal on Pango just finished as well, and then my Blink from just a little bit earlier. So we thought we could take this fight 5v4, give it a go. Didn't realize this guy had haste, so he actually joined his fight pretty quickly in a moment here. Now, as DK, with the Blink, it's not really that different from other Blink initiators. You just want to pick like a really good target, typically someone important to kill, or someone who you can like chain stun and get a kill. So I end up choosing Terrorblade. I was kind of waiting to see who we should go on. I actually don't know how that stun missed. I saw the stun come out and I was about to follow up chain stun, but I guess it hit, I don't even know, maybe hit an illusion or something. But because I saw Terrorblade kind of in the middle of all this, I decided to go on him, and Wraith King was chasing that Disruptor though. Otherwise, maybe we kill the Terrorblade right away here. He does get Sunder off though, so we decide we can still keep fighting. Here's SF joining the fight, but we managed to get roll off, and I was far enough back to not get caught. So finger on the Terrorblade. And so even if we stop right here, this is good enough. Considering we were pretty behind, finding a fight like this allows us to now kind of move back, farm up a lot, and be pretty happy. But if you can get more, you can. So I try to blink stun again, even though I'm pretty low. If I can get a kill for my team, right? A 2.5-second stun is pretty good. He Hurricane Pikes at that exact moment, so I ended up stunning a creep. This creep in particular, but we managed to at least get the Void Spirit. And again, we were pretty happy with this. If you just backed out, it'd be fine. And I think we were starting to say that. I was asking not to dive, but he felt he could burn the Mirana with Radiance, so he was running it down. And because they're still dead, I was like, okay. I was starting to leave when I saw that Shadow Fiend walked out. And because if you're playing DK or like any Blink Initiator, sometimes it's okay to die for your team if you get valuable kills. So if this was a support, I probably wouldn't go for it. But it's SF, and SF doesn't have BKB yet, so I end up coming in to stun him. We chain stun, we grab the skill, and then I'm asking, like, please get out, you know, because now everyone's respawning. So these are the kind of fights you want to look for when you are behind, just in general. And as DK, we're just going to try to keep picking key targets. Sometimes it's not going to be optimal in a pub game, okay? I know you guys are already saying, like, oh, we're not going to be coordinate, whatever. Like, it's okay. Whatever you see your team chasing, even if it's not the best target, maybe that's the one you should just blink stun, get them killed, and get your team refocused. The stun is just very good to help kill someone because it's so long. So just pick your best target and end them. From here, I'm going to get the shard. It's going to help me kill Terrorblade Illusions because he is high armor, but usually low HP until he picks up items, which he's pretty farmed, so he's getting there already. But it's still going to be good, and it'll help me farm faster, clear out waves. I'm staying up here because my team already scattered throughout the rest of the map. So this is the follow-up to the fight, right? You got to get farm. And if I move here, I'm just going to be competing with these cores for farm. They actually all left top. I don't want to feed because I did see some people come up here. So I am just farming safely and I'm going to wait. And I'm actually asking my team right now, like, hey, this is the real Terrorblade. If he keeps coming up here, we could probably kill him because the other team is also scattering. So take a look at this. Mirana bottom, SF in the mid lane, right? So if Terrorblade keeps going, I have this blink stun. This is what you want to keep calling for. It's just really good. But until my team is ready to do that, I want to farm. And I didn't want to farm out here where I might reveal myself. So I came over here. And I think Pango, yeah, so Pango comes up here. So I start running over. Immediately, okay, guys? It's okay to leave camps unfarmed if there's more important things to do. Pushing out lanes and getting kills cannot wait for a few seconds to finish these tiny creeps. It's unfortunate for your farm, like efficiency, but there's bigger things in the game. So I immediately leave that camp, come over here. I'm looking for Terrorblade. I see the real one is actually like out here. And so I'm just going to throw everything. Bot dust earlier. Initiators buy detection against invis units. And I'm going to have to buy more dust. And then I'm trying to push it again, right? So we killed this, and I thought, hey, the enemy should actually be like rotating to help him, so maybe we can find something else. But then I saw this happening, but I saw Void Spirit bottom, so I thought, hey, if we can all get here, we can take another fight. So when you're behind, I'm always looking for these. When the enemy is split up, try to like push the tempo. Unfortunately, Lion just gets killed, and it doesn't look like the best. So we're kind of hanging around to see. And I ping it here. I say, like, if SF walks up here, let's go. the creeps find me. I guess that means there's a ward up here. And so I'd go on the Mirana. But this is kind of like a risky position. This guy's still not with him, though. So that's kind of why we can do this. And this guy, Illusion Rune, dodged my stun. Can you believe it? Trying to keep up the tempo more. We know Void Spirit's down here on his own. So we smoke. Come chase him. And I mess up. This could have been a kill if I like got the proper blink stun, but I am slow, and he just gets away. And now we're kind of getting baited to go too far. So it's my mistake. I just needed to hold blink longer, I think, to see where he goes. I was trying to get him like over here before he did his stuff, but I was too slow. And the enemy's probably on their way, so I want to be careful. But I also want to keep making my way to blink. So here's my ult. Block my own camp because I wasn't looking at the time. Oh, that's what I thought, but actually turns out it was blocked, so that doesn't make me feel any better, I guess, but later I was out of the box and I was like, it still didn't spawn. What the heck? I see this stuff going on top, so I'm going to come down here, try to take this tower. I'm using spells to get the creeps in faster because I don't want to tank too much because I'm worried if they rotate on me, I'll die. But I see this going on, and I'm trying to keep my eye on it. I end up TPing a little sooner than I needed to, I think. But I think err on the side of safety. If it looks like a fight's gonna break out, you know, try to join. But in the end, right, like not much happens, you see, and it's a little awkward. I could have been farming this bottom part of the map. So that's where like team communication can help if your team's like full on the same page of like get out or not. Oh, see, I didn't think about it. Now that I'm watching the replay, the signs were there. The creep saw me in the trees and came over, and that should have let me know that there's like an observer up here. It's got to be high ground if it can see into the trees. And I think Abaddon just placed an observer there that got killed by Mirana. So if I had told them, I mean, I couldn't have told them in the game because I didn't piece it together until just now, but this is where, same as earlier, I had that feeling disruptor warded here and I didn't tell my team, and it maybe got lion killed a couple times, right? You gotta share the info with your team, which I'm usually pretty good at, but sometimes I don't. So communicating is important in a team game. Can you believe it? I was asking to try to get this Void Spirit, but no one came, so we're just gonna go back to farming. And that's the thing, right? This has happened sometimes where I tell you guys to do something and then you tell me it won't happen. I know it won't always happen. It's a pub game, but you need to try to make it happen. So I'm showing you all the things I'm calling for, and about half of them happen, right? But that's okay, because if I didn't call for anything, none of them happens. Like maybe we don't get this TB kill here if I'm not asking for Pango to come top. And maybe I call it and he doesn't come. Whatever, right? We'll move on to the next one. I called for this Void Spirit kill and we didn't really react in time to it. That's okay. Call them. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if you stay dead silent, right? This is where I realized it was blocked. If you stay dead silent, then none of it's ever going to happen. So you have to ask, and if you lose, you lose. If you manage to recover, you can make a YouTube video on it. Here's the Void Spirit still down here, which maybe we could have got. I knew I couldn't kill him on my own, so I'm just kind of like messing with him, and then I'm going to blink out. Now everyone's missing, so I'm a little worried. Trying to rejoin my team quickly. Okay, we knew they were all here, so actually this is about to be a losing fight. So talking about reading the map, right? Void Spirit was bottom, but now he's showing up here, and Terrorblade's here. Void Spirit was probably the only one down here, so I had a strong feeling they're all in this area. And we were just deciding like not to do it, but Lion actually went ahead of time. And so we committed because this will happen, right? And this is the danger of being an initiator. If you go, the team often follows. It is the strength and the weakness. So when you're playing DK, right, if you blink stun, you're likely to draw in teammates to go as well. But sometimes that's bad. Like we actually should have just let Lion die or like have him run away here, because this is not a great fight. Now we actually almost kill SF, but this is a very nice swap from Terrorblade. And then now we're into deep. He has his BKB popped, and we're all gonna die, right? And the reason that's not great is because I'm getting closer to BKB, right? Could have had it in another couple minutes. Don't really need to force these kind of crazy fights if it's not good. The other fights we took, they were good for tactical reasons. We saw heroes down here, or like we knew someone wasn't like, you know, here alone, stuff like that. Those were all good fights. And this was the first 5-on-5 where I felt behind at this point. I didn't know the exact net worth, but we are behind. And this is the first fight where I was looking at the map and I was like, I think this is all of them. I don't think we should do this. But I didn't like say it fast enough. And so this can be what happens, right? We end up losing this fight and they're going to get Roche off of it. The game plan doesn't really change. You still just got to look for them split up. I'm just going to try to get my BKB, and I'm going to try to split up the map against them because I didn't want to fight 5v5 before. Now I definitely don't want to fight 5v5. I still see Void Spirit down here, so I'm just like playing it safe. Absolutely intended to stack this camp. You should look for it if you're Dragon Knight. It's something I'm really bad at, but the way to be like mana efficient with Dragon Knight, let's say you're farming these two camps, right? Drag them together, breathe fire across, or drag them together, put fireball in between. Check the time, stack, then use your spells, right? Because all of his farming tools, once you're like level 2 ult, they're all AoE, so it doesn't matter how many creeps are there. To an extent, actually, it does matter, but for the most part, it doesn't really. And then because Void Spirit's down here, we decided to try to take this fight top because they overextended. I'm a little slow on the TP, and unfortunately, the creeps see me, so I'm just going to settle for this Disruptor find. And then I want to kill the creeps so that if I don't kill these creeps and I ignore them, I actually didn't realize these skeletons were here, so it probably would have been okay. But I didn't want us to like chase super far, win a fight by their tier 2, and then like, the creep wave is back here. So that's why I wanted to take a second to kill the creeps really quickly. Plus my blink was on cooldown anyway, so even if we see someone, I can't really get there. And then once Wraith King TP's away, we need to be careful. So I'm just going to go back to farming to finish up my BKB before we get too involved in anything. And I'm watching the map carefully before I choose to show back in lane or not. I don't want to die, but the more we can keep the lanes pushed in, the less time they can spend just pushing our tower, right? We're threatening another tower. They have Aegis, but we're going to trade tier 2 towers. That doesn't feel very good. So that's going to bait them to come back. And the more time we buy, the better. Let's go back here. We were waiting to see if we could fight. And now, again, look at the map. So Void Spirit's back here. They're over here. So they're a little split up. So are we. Specifically me. I'm split up. But when I saw this on the minimap, that they found Disruptor on his own, because Disruptor could have been in here, and then this fight probably doesn't happen. But they happened to catch Disruptor in here, and then knowing that this was our base, I start the TP just a second too late, so I have a TP a little further back. But I think this fight's kind of okay, even though it's a 5-on-5, because of the way it wasn't an immediate 5-on-5. It was very scattered on that map, and we found the first person, and it's a Disruptor. It's not like we ran into the Shadow Fiend who's going to BKB plus Aegis. That's really tough. That's kind of what happened over here, even though we didn't have Aegis. He was just a hard kill, and there was time for SF or TB to save him. But this was a very weak support who's immediately dead, so it's no longer a 5v5, it's a 5v4. So I'm going to TP in. Let's go back to my view. I'm trying to figure out who like the best target is, and I'm thinking about just keeping SF out of the fight. Because even if you stun Terrorblade, his illusions can still do a good amount of damage. Plus, with Sunder, it's hard to kill. So I thought maybe we can take out SF first. I know he has Aegis, but we can kill him, take him out of the fight, and then just get out. But the team is it's kind of hard to escape the Scotty, right? So we're still in here, and honestly, the fight's kind of going well because it's not a 5v5, it was a 5v4 to begin with. I was looking for the Void Spirit here, trying to snipe the kill, but I didn't want to like go into them. So Lion's gonna die here, I think, but this was still a really good fight. We only lost supports, and we only killed supports, I guess, but we also got Aegis. So I'm gonna farm back here, but I'm gonna do it safely, and I'm gonna keep my eye on the minimap. I do not want to feed, but I do want to pressure them. So I'm going to do things like this, where I just shove in the tower, and then I quickly run into the trees and hide. I run into the trees and hide. But then as I look at the minimap and I see where they are, I'm going to come out and keep shoving things in. Always farming. That's the pub game way. And then I see them all top, so I feel better to come into this tower. Kind of pop this ult a little too early. But I'm just going to wait for the creeps and then keep going. But because it took too long and the tower's down, now I have to be careful. So I actually back up, even though we're actually at the tower now. I don't want them to TP in, and you have to be very careful against Disruptor, but also against a Void Spirit who has the jump, right? So I'm playing it really safe until I see more information. And then right now we're kind of like seeing some heroes here, an illusion here. So things are pretty scattered here. I know they're not with me though, so I'm going to go hit the tower once, and I'm asking my team not to fight here. And because I don't know where they'll go after this team fight, it could be down here. I'm just going to retreat backwards and try to... It can be greedy to farm, but if you can do it fast enough, try to pick up the farm on your way out, because you're going to steal it from the enemy. And now I'm going to hide in the trees again. So I'm going to wait here, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to watch the map. So I know Terrorblade's here, and I was telling my team if we maybe smoke here... Oh, I don't think I said it yet, but maybe we smoke here, I can surprise the Terrorblade. So I know the real one's here, and we're seeing some heroes up here. So here's the line. If you can circumvent them with the smoke, but then I saw they were here, so I was like, maybe not. Because it could be bad. They could get caught 4v4 here, and I'm like on the wrong side. So then I told them, okay, just go push out top and mid, because they're going to try to take this bottom tower and then go high ground, and I'm just going to cut the creep wave. So I cut one, but I don't TP right away. I'm watching the minimap to see what's happened. I still see several of them there, so then I'm just going to move up and get ready to cut the next one. So I'm picking up a lot of farm. I'm killing their push here. We just need to survive one creep wave, and we do. And because we actually have this ward here, I feel safe enough to farm a little bit. They could smoke, but smoking backwards onto your own half of the map feels pretty bad. But then here, so this is why we were split pushing. Here's Mirana. in this bottom part of the map. There's no way she can join this fight fast enough. So we all TP back, and we say, like, go, 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 go find people. I was going to go for SF, but he popped BKB, and I see Void Spirit chain stun up here, so we're just going to stun him, get the kill. Going to pop my own BKB, so I'm not affected by SF. Ult, throw out the Shard, Fireball. If we just disengage from here, this is still okay. Void Spirit for Abaddon, but they are taking our high ground. So just trying to buy time here. Honestly, losing one set of ranks is not the end of the world. And they are pretty strong right now. Forcing a direct fight is tough. But here you see the chain stun going on. I think he actually gets away. Oh, never mind. So let's go watch that again. So I was just kind of like playing it chill. A lot of times people try to come up too soon and they will die off on their own. But my team is all healing and coming back. So we're just playing it safe, waiting. And then when he gets bashed by the basher, Lion decides to go. So that's the chain stun. That's me coming in as well. He has a Linken's, so we need multiple sources. That is what's going to get him killed. And from here, we're good to chase and keep going. He's going to find the Mirana first, and we're going to run down the Terrorblade. So at this point, we felt pretty good. Felt like we're back in the game completely, which now looking at the net worths, we were never super far behind, but it did feel pretty rough. Especially off the laning stage. So from here, the game plan still doesn't really change. Direct 5-on-5s can be good for some teams. It's usually the team with better team fight. But although we have Pango roll, now that they have BKBs and they have heroes like TB and SF who can kind of just kill Pango as he rolls around, the complete 5-on-5 does not feel amazing. So we don't want to just force 5v5s under tower. We want to be careful with the fights we take, still look for pickoffs. But if the situation is good, we can consider a 5v5. So here they find a pickoff, and we saw SFBKB, so we were happy with that. We felt like we could force things, but we needed to make sure we don't get ratted by Void Spirit too much. Then we got glimpsed here, but I think they had roll. I think it was Pango, but he had the passive, or the shard. I decided to get a Halberd. I was going to get AC, but Wraith King built an AC. No need for two. I decided to get a Halberd, and I could try to disarm the Terrorblade or SF. Terrorblade, unfortunately, his illusions can still attack, but at least the main one's not, and the main one does do the most damage. But it's also a way for me to proc Linken's on my own. If I'm the only one jumping SF, for example, I can Halberd into stun. I don't know what else I would have bought. I was thinking about the Hex, but Halberd seemed like more affordable and easier to get to. I didn't need the... Well, I would never complain about having an Aghanims, but I felt the threats to me were specifically the SF and Terrorblade, more so than just magic damage. So that's why I didn't feel the need to get the Ags. Here we saw what's-his-name TPing in the corner. So I ran in with the dust. Again, carry detection if you're an initiator. Gonna get the roll on this guy. I actually blinked away here. I don't know if I need to, but I wanted to kind of like stay out of sight so I can pick and choose my next blink target. Choose one to like revisit in. Maybe could have stunned that Mirana. Our BKBs are down now though. So I think we were calling to get out because the side lanes weren't in the best spot. And we don't have Lion, so locking down this like Void Spirit. We ended up chasing him quite a while, and this is not the best. This was a bait on our part. We spent too much time on that. Could have done something else. So here we try to get out, and this is me being greedy, trying to... I was farming a little. I didn't realize the real Void Spirit made his way onto this side, so I ended up getting caught out here and feeding. I could have just left safely, just run out top. I honestly thought that area was safe. I didn't... If I had known heroes were there, I definitely would not have done it. So that was just me... I don't know. I assumed they wouldn't be there, and I was wrong. And that can happen as people try to retreat. You got to be careful not to let that happen. I did. So, I mean, it will happen, but it's never good, you know. The importance of good wards. Spot this guy. Managed to pick up the kill here. Woo! Even though he had a team nearby, we just had to jump first, and we're at the stage of the game, and we have enough lockdown. Again, that's why I like the DK stun. Even if you're behind, but someone else is doing well, like this Wraith King. Like, I'm the lowest farmed core, but I'm not that far behind. But all I have to do is blink stun for Wraith King and let him kill the people, and that's good enough. This was an intentional stack. Woo. I remember occasionally. This guy, super hard to kill with the Aeon. Very mobile. I'm gonna come stun Terrorblade, keep him from doing too much damage in the fight. You know, I'm kind of speeding through this one. Let's slow down a little. So this fight, we didn't fully mean for it to happen, but because SF is dead, we thought, you know, maybe we can do it. I don't think it's the best fight for us though. So you can see it's like kind of hard to get Void Spirit, and I think me jumping him might have been a mistake. I should have waited for an easier to kill target like Terrorblade. Now I'm gonna stun Terrorblade to keep him controlled, locked up. I don't think I halberded him. I should have just BKB'd here. This is me being greedy, not an experienced offlaner. Should have BKB'd, he wouldn't have been able to swap me, and then we'd clean up the kill. Instead, he swaps me, and I'm going to pop BKB. I'm going to come in, disarm, and stun him again. We are going to kill him, but we made it harder on ourselves. Could have thrown the fight there, and now I don't really have the resources to help. Cancel my auto attack once or twice. I wanted to slow him down at least. And then you never have to leave. I see a lot of like initiators get low and then just run home and immediately leave. It's okay to stay. It's okay to die if you get your stun off. So that's what I'm doing. Even though I'm really low and I could die, I don't want to die. We're trying to hug the edges of the fights and stuff. But if I blink stun, like that's a lot. I TP back to try to defend, a little late, so we do lose this mid Rax. I was almost dead. I did want to stay for the reasons I was just describing, that my blink stun is really useful to get kills, but didn't want to lose Rax and was low, so if anyone was going to go back, it made sense for it to be me, but I was just too slow on it, so oops. Now, even though I was talking about not wanting the Ags right away, I decided to get it now because at this point now I have the Halberd and the AC from Wraith King. Now physical damage was kind of handled, so now I was taking a lot of magic damage from some other stuff and decided, you know what, let's get it. I don't know if it's like the perfect item. From here, my team is maybe not the most disciplined, myself included. We're only 10k up, and at 40 minutes that doesn't mean the world, but the enemy is tilted. They all keep coming out one at a time, so we're kind of just like snowballing kills, and we end up winning here. So we don't really need to like break down the next couple minutes. We just take towers and all that. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know. A little bit long, I know, but it's kind of unavoidable if we're walking through and talking through a game. So I hope it's still useful. I do think these kind of replay reviews are helpful. I know I'm not usually an offlane player, so there are going to be some mistakes I make here. And I'll do some of these for support where we'll have a bit more confidence, but I wanted to knock this out of the way since I've been working on some offlane. It just made sense to do this now. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.